What's up, everyone? We're back with episode 21 of the Dub Jellison Podcast. Today, I got a very special guest with me. It's Jordan Williams. He's the first ever pro athlete to join me on the Dub Jellison Podcast, and just so happens to be a fellow Type 1 diabetic. So, how you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing yourself?
I'm doing good, hanging in there. How are you handling this whole COVID pandemic? I know it's been kind of crazy for the MMA community.
Yeah, man. It's actually, to be honest with you, it really sucks. I mean, I finally had to file unemployment with my main employer. So I mean, but that sucks. I mean, well, at least until the time being with this extra CARES Act. It figures I'm actually going to be making a little bit more money each week being on unemployment, which whatever, that's great. So, but that just sucks for my employer and everything. So for the time being, it works out. So like, we don't know if they're gonna keep our economy shut down past July, and then now I'm stuck in a shitty situation because the extra money from the CARES Act has run out, and now I'm back to a regular unemployment number. So I'm hoping that this thing turns around real quick. Another thing is that I had a fight lined up, and they had canceled my fight. I just finished my training camp, and I was within a week of fighting another professional guy, Kyle Stewart. He used to be in the UFC, and it was going to be like my fight back in, like, to get me back inside the octagon. So it really sucks for me career-wise because I was all built up, and then this whole COVID thing just fucking took it away.
Yeah. So do you know what's going to happen in the future, if they're going to still honor your contract, or are you guys all laid off from LFA?
LFA, I'm not sure if they are. They said they're postponing the fight, so I'm hoping that they do honor it, because it took a long time to find an actual opponent who accepted the fight. This Kyle Stewart guy, he was the third or fourth person that had gotten injured or just didn't accept the fight. So I really hope that they honor that, so that I can just pick up right where I left off. But there's been no word. They just said, sorry, we're postponing this. We'll get back to you, and basically left it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's a consistent theme with a lot of different business entities. Not only with sports and MMA, but with restaurants and things like that as well. So, like I mentioned, you're also Type 1 diabetic. Have you been handling that throughout this?
I mean, well, it's been going good. I mean, I just I get my insulin. I have Kaiser, which is good. It's a good factor for like caring for diabetes, or as in like knowledge and resources, but they cost a lot. It's like with the insurance I have, it's like $300 for insulin, and I pay insurance a month. So I still go to Walmart and I get like $25 worth of vial there. So that's good. I just go there, get my vials. Like, I might have to wait in line, but it's been going. I mean, we haven't been having any we haven't been having any problems like storing up on food or getting enough juice. And I can wait through a line. It's no big deal for me at a store, but I mean, it is starting to piss me off having to fucking put on a mask and like, it's just like they have like those special times where people with disabilities can go, but like, look at me, they're not gonna let me go, and I'll be like, oh, I'm Type 1 diabetic. They're like, fuck, man, get in here with the rest. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like, so I still shop at the regular times, and I had to go, and being a diabetic, we had them always be stocked, not only insulin supplies, but sugars, juices, carbs, and all the goodies that we need to sustain ourselves. So it just puts me on the public more, but whatever. I'm not even. What's that?
So you haven't tried to go in with the disability times?
No, I haven't. Have you? Did you do that? Did it work?
No, I haven't. I'm lucky. I live with my parents right now since I'm out of school. So my mom or dad will go and get me whatever I need. But right on. I mean, if I lived on my own, I'd probably do that.
Fuck, man. made me rethink. What's that?
I would just try to explain to him like what was going on, because technically we are disabled. I mean, it's not like other people, but it is a disability, so we should get those perks because we are more at risk.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's just like fucking, like I said, we always, need supplies, and that costs money. So definitely, like when I went on unemployment, I definitely, when they said, "Do you have a disability?" Yes, I do. Like, so I had to go through all these special questions and answering, like, well, what do you, like, do you need a caretaker? I was like, no, I just have diabetes. But so it's like, yeah, I definitely feel like dealing with this, we always get the stigma like, hey, you're not going to be good at sports, you're not going to be good at this. So it's like, we always get thrown the disadvantage, like, you're not going to be as good as a regular person. So why are we getting treated like regular people then? If you're going to have that stigma against us, so, might as well take what you can get in this situation. I believe that we're regular, or if not better, just dealing with it every day makes us stronger. But, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, there are a lot of, I think a lot of people just don't understand what diabetes is, because like you could, like when I was little at school, if I had to go get myself a shot, whatever the deal was, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" or whatever, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm diabetic." They're like, "Oh, so you can't eat candy?" And I was like, "No, I can eat candy. I can eat whatever I want." And then still some adults do that.
Need to eat candy.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes some adults will try to like tell me what to do, and I'm like, man, I was diagnosed when I was 3.
I was about to say, how old were you when you were diagnosed? You were 3 years old?
Yeah.
Man,
I don't remember anything else but being diabetic, so.
Hey man, true soldier right here, man. That's what's up, man. I got diagnosed when I was 19. So the story, like how I got diagnosed was I was in high school. Or excuse me. I was in college. I was 19. And I was dating this girl at the time, and she was in school to become a medical assistant, and her grandfather was diabetic. And it had been a long time where I was like, I was urinating frequently. Like when I say frequently, I mean 7 to 10 times during the day, and then like 5 times during the night. Just always urinating. I had lost about 20 pounds in 2 weeks. So people were literally asking me like, hey man, like, are you on drugs? Like, are you on crack? Like that was the first time of like someone I knew like pulled me off to the side and was like, hey, are you on crack? I was like, no. And so it was and I was always tired. I was moody as fuck. I'd just be bitching. I had a 3-year-old brother, and my brother was 3 at the time, and I would just cuss him out. I'd go through these dark rages, and I just like, and then I snap out of it. But it was just like it's still like feel guilty. But so then my the girl I was dating at the time, she was like, you sound like a diabetic. You're acting like a diabetic. So let's just check your check your blood sugar. We checked it. It was 465. She's like, whoa, this is super high. And who knows how long it's been high like that for? So right. And so I went in, and then they basically diagnosed me on that. They put me on an IV drip, and they got my blood sugar down, and then they're like, hey, basically you're a type 2 diabetic. They misdiagnosed me at first. They said it was a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
What's that?
I remember reading that when I first heard of you, and I was very confused about that. How they would miss that.
Just like, just knowledge is not as accessible these days, or at least the proper knowledge. And I read a book. A friend of mine, he gave me a book about magnesium and its benefits for diabetics. And I learned in the first page of that book, it explained like if you gain weight and you're labeled diabetic, it's type 2. But if you lose weight and you're having all these symptoms, it's type 1. And they give age. I was like, dude, I learned more than what the doctors knew when they were diagnosing me. That's kind of scary.
Yeah,
And you know, so but anyway, on a separate note, so they diagnosed me type 2, so they're giving me metformin. And what metformin does, I know you know, but for people who don't know, that's a drug that releases the insulin that your body already makes. And because type 2, you have too much fat or other substances that are tricking your cells, and they aren't releasing the insulin, or they can't release it. So what the metformin does is it allows you to release insulin that your body makes. Well, if you're type 1 diabetic, your body doesn't make any insulin. So I was misdiagnosed for a couple of months. And then after that, they finally, a couple months. So after that,
fucking months.
Yeah.
That's
And,
insane.
Yeah, man. It was rough. It was a rough start, man. So I finally got on the right path, and then once I had my insulin, I gained 30 pounds in like 15 days. I gained more weight than I was at. So I was wrestling at 184, and then I was starting to feel bad. I dropped down to 170, 174, and then I got diagnosed with the correct way. Oh, this is all in or maybe 1 month, because it was all in one wrestling season. And then they gave me insulin, and then at the end of that wrestling season, at the beginning I was feeling bad. At the middle they diagnosed me. At the end they diagnosed me type 1 diabetic. And they gave me insulin, and then I was cutting down from 210 to 197. So that's my introduction into diabetes right there, in a nutshell.
That's absolutely insane. Because I was too young to remember really what it was like. I don't remember the moment they told me. I remember being in my hospital bed, and there's a kid that was next to me. There's something wrong with this. I think it's throat cancer or something like that. And I remember all my family came to visit me, and it was like a party. I didn't really know what was going on. So I'm sure. And when you were 19, when you got it, I'm sure that's scary enough. And then to get misdiagnosed and have everything happen, to be wrestling in school and all that stuff, I'm sure it was insane.
Yeah, man, it was definitely another ball to juggle at the time, and it was the heaviest one of them all. But we got it done, and I was still able that year. I was diagnosed, so the end of that wrestling year, I ended up winning I've been wrestling since I was in the second grade, and I had never won a state title. I always come close. I've placed fifth in state. I've placed second in state twice, or once in high school and once when I was really young, but I never really earned that state title honor. And then that year that I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I had to go up to 197, and I won a state title at 197. So hey,
that's crazy.
That's the cherry on that, if there is any you can put on.
Yeah. So when I played, I don't play any sports now, but when I played baseball. So if I was low, it was pretty easy. Our baseball pants have pockets in the back. I'd carry Skittles with me. What you're low when you're sparring or training?
Oh yeah, so when I'm low, I'm trying to. I also, I've been better at it, but just like you can read the signs. You can feel I'll be like, there's very few amount of times where I guess what I'm not, and so I can guess. You just make sure you're a little bit high when you go in. The problem is making sure you're not too high. So I've been better at checking, but I always check, but it's checking twice. So before the workout starts, I try to check a half hour before the workout starts. And then right when the workout starts. That way I can see, okay, not only where it's at, but which direction is it going? Because a 150 is considered a high score, but a 150 that changed to a 120, that's low for me if I'm about to go and spar. So I want it to be going up or or a sustained 150 or a sustained 200. Anywhere in that range, I that's where I feel good and not too bloated from being too high. So, but when it does get low, I carry juice. I have a big old thing of juice, quite like this. Always by me, always on my side, and like I'll just have it at the gym. If I feel low during the round, low at any time, and at the end of the round, I'll stop my partner. Everyone in my gym knows my condition, and my coaches, they all help. They're all part of it. I mean, as a regular bit, because they're all going through their thing, so they know my thing. So if I say, hey, I need to drink some juice, give me like 20 seconds. We're all on the same page, and then I drink my juice. We get back in it. If it's super low, I might have to take a round off. When I'm sparring to let because sometimes it takes like 15 minutes or so to let your blood sugar raise. So I definitely don't want to be sparring within those 15 minutes if I'm feeling really low. I mean, 9 out of 10 times I still do, but there's times where I feel low. I'm like, hey, I feel discombobulated. I'm not going to perform my best. I feel like I'm at danger for myself to take a big blow that I feel like I could avert otherwise. So I'm then I stop. But other than that, I just have my juice on the side and we're good to go.
Have you ever been low during an actual fight?
I can't say that that I've been, because I've always but I have to tell you this, there's times where I felt I was low. And I'll be training right before the fight, and this is why I know I haven't had time I was low yet, just because I'll be checking myself all before a fight. I mean, before in a regular day, you probably check yourself 3 to 6 times, whatever, each meal, whatever. So, before a fight, you're checking yourself. I'm checking myself like every half hour, literally. Like I'll go through maybe 20 test strips before a fight. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll know that okay, it's high. Then I'll feel too high, so then I'll be fluttering before a fight, trying to make sure it's not too high. Because then I'll be nervous. Like I'll have that question that you just asked me. Like, what if it gets low during the fight? And then I was like, oh shit, it's too high. Now I got to take some insulin. So it's kind of like I've probably been too high during fights, but that nervousness feeling, oh my God, I'm telling you, you'll feel like you're low. You'll feel like you're drop dead low right before fight. And then you'll test yourself like, what? I'm at like 230? Oh my God. So I haven't been low to fight yet. I'm just waiting for that day. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'd get like that where I felt like I was low, and then you're like 200. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
People that aren't diabetic will never know just how weird you feel at some points in, like, just throughout the day. Like, you think you're one thing, totally on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Have you ever been on so high to where you can't see, like where you're like kind of like your vision's blurry?
No, I did. Have you had that?
I mean, well, it's not like blurry, but it's definitely like phasey, and it's hard to focus. Like your visual frame, if you have it, if you will be okay. But then when you try to focus on something, that's when shit kind of gets a little hazy. Mm-hmm. I just I've had a couple of those moments. But yeah, I've talked to other diabetics. They definitely had that like that visual deception.
Mm-hmm. There was one time where I was super high. I came home. It was in like 7th grade. So I come home. I skipped baseball practice. I had practice that day. Skipped it. Came home. My stomach hurt so bad. I was laid down, and then I started yakking everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I go and lay down, and my dad was home at the time, and he just thought I was sick. So then my mom comes upstairs, and she goes, "You test your blood?" And I was like, "No, I'm sick. Why do I need to test my blood?" So we go check it, and my meter, I don't know about yours, but mine only went up to 600, so it said over 600.
Yeah.
And my mom whooped my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening to this at some point, but I've tested myself, and the reading said hi. You're like, it's like, oh shit. Like, yeah, let me go ahead and lower this real quick.
Yeah.
Take way too much, a lot of insulin.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's kind of weird for me to talk to another diabetic. I mean, I know a couple people, but I don't really talk to them anymore. Like, I've met them when I was little, but it's weird to be able to connect with someone like that. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't know how many diabetics you know, but
very few. I know a couple. I know actually one of the closest diabetics that I hang out with. He actually reached out to me, like you on Instagram, and he had a fight. That's his fight shirt right there, and he needed he was having he had diabetic issues, and he had to quit fighting. And then his first fight back, he had reached out because he saw me win, doing good. So he had like called me out and said, "Hey man, I like you to help me get back into the ring." So then I did, and then like I actually went with him to his fight and cornered him, and he got the W. It was great. So so I mean, it was awesome. I had that same feeling that you're having, like just to go with someone, just like someone say, like, because a couple years ago I was in DKA and I almost like died. So like it was another story in itself, but they were telling me that I'll probably never fight again. I'll never do all this stuff again. And then like my first fight back, I won a world title, so it was definitely a good feeling, So yeah, man, I'm happy to connect with you.
You want to talk about that situation at all, or do you want to leave it alone?
Oh, the DKA, no, we could talk about it. So what happened was, I was with the guys. We were at the fair time, summer night. It was in August, and I was with the guys. And I usually like to drink hard alcohol because it doesn't raise your blood sugar. It actually lowers your blood sugar. So if you have a nice mixed drink, hard liquor is stronger, gets the job done quicker. Is the way to go. And beer and wine raise your blood sugar. So we were at the fair. They weren't serving any hard alcohol, so we just went beer. I don't know why. I think they were serving hard alcohol. We just decided to drink beer that night. All my guys wanted to drink beer. I had forgotten to take my insulin with me, so of course I didn't take my insulin all night. And then when I got home, my friend, we were all drunk. We got home. He stayed the night. The next morning, I even felt fine. I like walked him. I was like, "All right, dude, I'll see you at training in a day or two," because it was one of my friends. And then I tried to eat something and drink some water, and I started throwing up. So I thought, okay, I have alcohol poisoning, so I'm just gonna sleep and ride this out. But I still didn't take any of my insulins, and so my blood sugar just basically was high from Monday. It was Saturday night. I finally went into the hospital on Wednesday. I was fighting because I was feeling like shit. I was throwing up constantly. I didn't eat a single drop of food from Saturday to Wednesday. I just couldn't, because I didn't drink water. I was throwing it up, but my blood sugar was so high that my body was not allowing me to consume anything. It didn't trust me. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, we're way too high. So I was going through that, and then I was living with some roommates at the time, and I stumbled out of the room on that Wednesday night. I was like, "Hey guys, if because I'd called off work Monday, I called off work Tuesday, and then I called off work Wednesday. Because I was thinking it was gonna come around, but I was such in the wrong state of mind. Like when you're in DKA, like you only know the basic functions of life, like go to the bathroom, get up, go to the bathroom, try to drink water. Oh, you can't? Okay, go lay down. Like you don't know, you don't comprehend. Like, oh shit, I've called off work 3 days in a row. I should go to the hospital. Like your brain doesn't function properly. You need someone to like just make the decision for you at that point, or at least at the point I was at. And I walk out to the room. I was like, hey guys, like if I'm like this for one more night, or one more day, can you guys take me to the hospital like on Friday? They're like, no, fuck you. They're like, we're taking you right now. So they took me, and then I was like, I don't know, it's like my body took over for me. Once I allowed them to take me, I don't remember anything. Like it was like I just stayed conscious enough to ask them to take me, or for them to take me to the hospital. Then they put me in the car, and I don't remember the car ride. I don't remember anything. It was I was like on my deathbed, and then I don't remember. They had to drug me because of course I was that guy who was trying to escape the hospital. I was so I don't need to be here. You guys are costing me too much money, and then they just like drug me, and yeah. So I don't remember any of the hospital experience. I don't like. There's like 10 days of my life gone, but I got through it. My mom was there. My brother was there. My mom's a strong woman. She was like, my stepdad said, your mom's a strong. She'd never cry. I've been married to your mom 15, 20 years. She'd never cry. That was the first time I seen her cry when you were there. So like, it caused some heartstrings for my mom, but she was there. She, was there for me, and my little brother Romy came there for me, and and like that's been a couple years since. So I've been making the right decision since. I always, I go out and drink when I decide even when I decide to be bad, I got to be good. So that's what I learned from that night.
Have you ever considered getting an insulin pump, or do you just do injections?
I choose injections because I feel like an insulin pump, that's you still have to regulate it anyway. And then it's just gonna be anytime I want to go for a run or work out, which is daily, I have to disconnect it and then reassemble it. And just like right now for me in my life, it's just more considerable. Yeah, it makes me have to be more on top of it. Yeah. But there's just because there's questions I have about the pump, like because I can feel like where I do my insulin injections too. I feel like lumps of scar tissue start to form up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I like to mix up my locations right in it. So it's like with the insulin pump, that's mainly one location, and if you switch it up, I don't know how often you switch up a location on the pump, and like I don't know, people who have it, I'd like to see like what is like that ball of scar tissue, like is it big or is it not? Like I don't know, like because I have seen it on people, and I just like wanted to know like about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a pump?
Yeah, I have a pump. So it's every 3 days. You change it every 3 days, and you put like a 90 units in maybe for 3 days, or however much you use. It fluctuates between people, and then you can put it I've seen people put it on their arms up here.
Okay.
I put it on like my upper thigh, which might be hard for you working out, but that's the spot I use. And then I put it like. What did you say?
I said you can disconnect. I mean, well, that wouldn't be a problem. That's a good. That'd be a good. You can disconnect it when you work out. Like you take the pump off.
Right now, it's in my. In my back. There's a little like fatty area, like right above your butt. And then you also have your stomach too. So there's cool places that you could put it.
So when you're doing that, do you reinsert the? Like, do you do the shot or the reinsertion of that not syringe, the Steri-Strip, like back into your own skin?
So whenever you put it in, you use this thing. I just call it the blue thing. When I got it, I was little. So, and then it pushes in like that, so it'd be like this.
Oh, okay.
And it goes, and then you pull a needle out. And it leaves they call it cannula, but it's basically like a straw.
Yeah, that's the problem. So yeah.
And so then you can disconnect it. So if you disconnect it, this part will come off. It's like a twist cap kind of. And you can twist it back on, but there's also I can show you. This thing will stay on your body.
Okay, so gotcha.
So if you take a shower, you just disconnect this part, which is connected to the actual insulin pump itself. Right. So I take that off, put that wherever, and then I could take a shower with this on.
Gotcha.
So then you don't have to give yourself like another injection, but you would just, twist it back on. But
sweet, man.
It works for me.
That looks pretty nifty, man.
Yeah, I've had it for 10 years now. Got it when I was 10.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So how did you start getting into MMA or the UFC?
Well, when I first got into MMA, that was a friend of mine's idea. He was like, "Hey, man, the guy I started training at this gym, and the coach was all, you're really good at wrestling, so you'll be really good at this." I started, and he's like, "Well, let me hit up my boy Jordan because he's way better at wrestling than me, and I think he'd be good at this." And this funny thing, I've already seen UFC and MMA on TV. I'd go to a friend's house and watch MMA fights, but I'd never nothing had ever told me that I should like try it until someone told me like, "Hey, dude, you probably be good at this." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I tried it, and then I loved it. I tried it the year. It was at the end of my wrestling career, basically, because UC Davis had offered me a full ride scholarship for wrestling, and then they basically lied. I signed a contract and had an agreement that I was going to go there after I spent 1 year at a JC and get my grades, because they're a really prestigious school. I had good grades, but you needed really good grades. So like, okay, you have over a 3.0 average, but like, let's have you get a 3.0 in high school or at a JC, then you'll be able to go. Like, and most people we have it do for 2 years. You'll do it for 1 year, and then you'll have a full ride scholarship at UC Davis. So then I said I agreed to it, signed a contract, or what happened to just be a fucking piece of paper, and then because at the end I had gotten a 3.0 my first semester. Second semester I get a phone call from my head coach and, "Hey, you're having UC Davis. They dropped the wrestling program, lack of funds." So then at the point I'd had a relationship with wrestling for so long. I always envisioned it paying my way through college, and I didn't have money for college besides that outlet. So then I was like, well, what's a way that I could stay on the mat but not pay thousands and thousands of dollars of tuition? Let's try and maybe get paid for it. Let's try this fighting thing. So before that I'd got that phone call from my head coach. I started training that year, that wrestling season. We were probably for like a couple of months or so. Like, it was couple of months or so, not too long. So then, yeah, I just decided to make the switch over.
And then what was your first? So like, how long were you training in MMA before your first fight?
I was training MMA. They jumped me in there quick, my man. They jumped me in there quick. On my first month, like, I had already had a fight. They're like, usually they said they wait a long time, but I had been training for a month. They threw me into a fight. Like, okay, you're fighting. So then I fight. I knocked the guy out in 30 seconds, and then they threw me in another fight. And then this fight lasted 30 seconds. It was 30. Well, the first fight was 31 seconds. The second fight was 30 seconds. Then my third amateur fight, they put me against someone it was for a title fight, and it was against. He's now in the UFC. His name is Griffin. He had already been.
Was an amateur?
He was, but he was pro.
Mm-hmm.
He was pro in Cali. He had already fought a couple fights on some on some Native American reservations, but he would go to Nevada and fight in Nevada for Reno Combat as an amateur. And then so I fought him there as an amateur, even though he's a pro. I beat him. I got the belt, and then I beat him. And then and that's a current UFC fighter right now. Isn't I don't know, I don't know, Max Payne Griffin. He's from California.
Yeah. I'm familiar. He fought Cowboy Oliveira.
Yep. Yeah, that was his last fight. Yep.
So then you were 8-2 before the contender this last Contender Series fight, and then that was a whole shit show in and of itself, in my opinion. Because that's how I first knew about you. Because I started watching MMA, UFC 232. It was John Gus 2 and Amanda Cyborg.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, so I'd watched them before that, but that one like really just made me fall in love with the sport. So then I started watching it, and then the Contender Series got here, and I saw a thing about you. I think Brett Okamoto put it on Twitter. I can't remember. And so I researched you for like the entire week leading up to your fight. I was super pumped, and I was crushed. I mean, I'm sure you were too, but
Yeah.
you talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, I appreciate your support, man, and just hearing like that. I had a fan like who was researching for me like a week before the fight, man. That just like puts wind in my sails, and I appreciate you for that. And man, that fight, it was, oh man, so that fight, it was crazy because it was a big build-up fight. You know, that guy's a tough motherfucker. I mean, he comes from we come from a country with like plumbing and good resource. Like, dude, this guy comes from a territory, a province in Russia that like they're so shit. Dagestan. I mean, like sometimes they're still shitting over holes. Like you take a squat, and just, like I have much respect and love for their people and where they go through, and just like, especially after fighting one of their own. This guy, he was a tough dude, and I have respect for him. So just going into that fight, so I knew that before going to that fight. I knew this was gonna be a tough fight, and then I saw the odds, how bad I was supposed to lose and everything. I was like, okay. I mean, that was only gonna be like motivated to try to show the world wrong. And I had this post ready. I had saved. I took a screenshot of like the odds that the world had. It was like literally. It was like on this one website on Tapology, it was like 9 out of 10 people thought I was gonna lose, and that 10th person who was voting for me was kind of on the fence. Like it was, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers, man, no love. So I took a screenshot. I was like, I'm gonna show the fucking world wrong. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna fucking stun this fool. So I had all that planned in me also. So I had all that build up, and then so the fight plays out. I think I win, but it was such a close fight. Like, I'm in the background. So then they did the decision in the back. I'm getting stitched up, and of course I'm crying. I'm like I'm not crying hysterically, but I'm like just trying to hold back my tears and just like, oh, this is so bullshit. This is not how this night was supposed to go, not at all. And like I've fucking been here before. Dude, this is so bullshit. And then I can hear in the background, I can hear Dana White's voice when he's doing the interview. He's like, well, obviously, he's like, well, Williams won that fight. And then it was faint, but I heard it, and I was like, well, he's fucking Dana though. And then, but I didn't really, I heard it, but I didn't really process. And then my family was so pissed. I'm telling you, my little brother, he was so angry, cursing and everything, and he's like. And then I had already and he was later in the night. He was so angry. So I honestly, I'm in the back. I go through my emotional roller coaster. By the time I see my family, for my family's sake and my own, I'm collected. I'm not gonna go out to my family all crying or all fucking angry, all fucking pissed off. I'm just like, that fucking sucks. We're here now. Let's go get what's up with some food. Anyone hungry? Like, like I'm fucking hungry as fuck. Like, let's go eat. So we're eating. We're getting situated. I get showered up. I get cleaned up. I had bought this new shirt. Me and my fiance. We went to the fucking mall. Got some earlier that day because it's a good thing. You want to prep to win. It sucks when you lose. And you can use this as ammo when you lose, but it's always good, I feel like, to prep. Like, you're going there to win. You're not going to go there and just kind of second guess yourself. Like, we went out there. That day, fight day, or the day before fight day, my lady and I, we went to the mall, got some, new outfits. I was like, okay, we're going to go out. We're going to go out, looking good, celebrating. So it was good. It was a good feeling. So after I lost the fight, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking, even though I'm all bloody, I'm putting on my nice shirt. And I'm fucking looking good. So I did that. And then, so I think why I did, my brother was starting to think he's at dinner, and now I can see him gleaming at me, and he's so angry. And he's so angry. And then and then it comes out later because I finally heard what Dana White said on the recording. That's what my little brother was listening to. So he actually was like, dude, they fucked you. They literally fucked you. In my mind, it was still like kind of like, I think they fucked me. I didn't really have like, you know, majority vote behind I didn't feel like I had that much support behind my decision yet. I just thought, you know, I only thought that. I didn't know that the whole world thought that I got fucked. So my little brother is sitting there pissed off, gleaming at me, and then so then I kind of told him, like, you know, but I was like, hey man, like, the reason why I'm not mad is because you gotta let it go. Like, I'm super pissed that I didn't have my way. It's the second time they pull away a fucking contract from me. I want to fight on a 5-day notice the first time. And I finished the guy. It's just like, what do you guys want? Like, and it's just like, obviously I had all those feelings and I had all those feelings I could wrote up and use and put straight that night. But you know what? For my sake, like I said before, for my sake, my family's sake, you just gotta let that shit go and like let most of it go. You gotta hold on to a little bit of it for motivation, obviously. But that night, I let it go. And, you know, I'm just moving forward. I'm just moving forward. Like, the world knows who I am. I got great supporters like you. So it's just like, you know, there's a big silver lining from that.
So I saw you on, I think it was Instagram, put something out and said, Dana, if you need someone to fight during all this, I'm here. And I was praying that you'd get a fight.
Yeah, man, me too, man. Unfortunately, I think that at this point, even everyone's trading. Everyone wants to show the world, and everyone's gonna be looking for that slot. So I think it's probably gonna be a hard opportunity to get one of those slots that people are still maybe scared of this COVID thing. And I'm praying for one of those slots. I have a really good management team. Shout out to my management, Iridium Sports Agency. So, you know, I'm just gonna be in the ear like once all this stuff starts getting back in. Hey man, I'm ready. Like, you know, I've been training, you know. It's not obviously at the pace that like having my gym around, but you know, I've been getting the work in, and I'm ready. Like you said, I hope and praying they call me for a fight.
That'd be nuts. That'd be so exciting.
Fuck, I'd be like, thank you, COVID-19. Fuck.
So before I let you go, I don't want to take up too much of your time. When I first found out who you were, I was looking at your Instagram and I saw your picture with Nate Diaz. You were training with him. So how did that all come about, and what was that like?
Well, my head coach, Dave Terrell, he was like a big brother figure for Nick and Nate Diaz both, and he was training around there. He was training under Cesar Gracie when those two started, I believe. And he and Dave, those two are both black belts under Cesar Gracie. Well, Dave Terrell, my head coach, is the first ever black belt under that practitioner. So they obviously had a brother. They were called the Scrap Pack. It was Jake Shields, Nick and Nate Diaz, Gilbert Melendez, Dave Terrell, I believe another one, but those are the Scrap Pack, and my head coach is like the big brother to him. So we also I train over down in San Francisco at Gilbert Melendez's gym. He has a good group of fighters where I go train out down there. And Jake Shields is he kind of flows, and he'll be training there. Sometimes he'll be training in Concord. He just flows. Jake Shields just flows around. But Nate and now Nate. Well, I started training with the Diaz brothers a long time ago because Dave had brought us. He did a trip. He took us to Cesar Gracie's, and the Diaz brothers were there, and we all met up. And then we had a good wrestling. And then I had a tough wrestling session with one of the big wrestlers that trains for that gym. And I think just Nick always just remembered from that day. He'd always kind of had an interest in you, like would say hi to me and shout out and say, hey, you're that wrestler guy, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, what's up, man? And you for Dave, right? And so he wouldn't remember my name right at first, but he'd remember who I was, and then he slowly started remembering my name. So then I remember Nick was fighting Anderson Silva I don't know if you remember that fight, but Nick Diaz was fighting Anderson Silva. So I got what's that? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I said I didn't watch it.
Okay, so that was an old fight. That was a fight happened a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I got invited to go train with Nick Diaz when because he had like a bunch of fighters that were like lengthy like Anderson Silva, and they would all like come meet up and fight. So I just got invited just to go be part of one of the guys to go spar against him. So it was an honor. And then I went out there, stayed out with them, and I've just had a relationship since. And then I've reached out to Nate. He would remember me, and he remembered me, and then he'd come down and to Santa Rosa sometimes to train, and then I would go down there, and I still have full access to that gym whenever I want to go down there. I just been giving him his time. I know he had that whole shit with the Jorge Masvidal shit, so like I don't want to be like one of those people that are just like hey man, now that like this happened, like let me just train. So I'm giving him his space and everything, and just like as a professional, and just like when I have another fight lined up, again, I'm just gonna like hit him up and be like, hey man, it's like a 4 or 5 hour like round trip. It's like two something hours there, two something. So it is a bit of a trip, but he says when I go out there, I go for like 3 or 4 days, and they let me Nick Nate, he has an apartment down there where he lets fighters stay at, and I'm welcome to go down there anytime I want. So we'll see.
That's insane. How are they like as real as I seem they are? I'm assuming they are, but
yeah, they're real. They're real. I mean, for sure. I mean, I love them to death, man. They are so real, but also it's just like, dude, they would if they saw a homeless guy with a shirt with no shirt, they'd take off the shirt off their back and give it to him. They're like just like it was actually a funny thing that I don't like the guy Conor McGregor, but it was a funny thing he said about Nate. He's just like, you're fucking throwing up gang signs in one hand and filling up little balloon animals for the kiddies in the other. And like, you know what? That was like one of the best comments that he has ever said, because it's true. Because Nate, they're such fucking nice and respectful people. But if you fucking fuck with them, you're gonna get the business. So just like they're as real as it gets.
So speaking of Conor, do you think that's Nate's next fight with the whole G Ferguson fight going down at 155? The winner will get.
I think. So. I mean, if he whenever Nate wants to come back, I think money wise, that'd be a great fight for him. Although he's got now his name is a moneymaker name too. Mm-hmm. In which took a lot longer time to get to that point than I feel he would deserve, but it's finally there. So, I think, that'd be a good, I think for him, it would finish up the trilogy, shut up Conor, because I think he won both those fights. Yeah. Conor didn't finish him. And he did some damage, but dude, like, fucking Nate was still coming at him the whole fucking fight. Period. I think, and I'm not the only professional fighter who thinks that. Jorge Masvidal thinks that too. Like a lot of people who are respectable fighters think he won both those fights. So I think he goes in there, he wins the third fight, he gets it back, and then it puts him back in contention to go for an actual belt, because if they're trying to get like maybe Conor fight, I heard there was talk about Conor maybe fucking fighting for a belt again soon, or trying to fight for a replacement for, like, instead of Gaethje, it was gonna be Conor against Ferguson. So like I hope Nate would be able to get there, fight him, steal that slot, because I think Ferguson is gonna beat Gaethje, and then have another shot at the title. And then hopefully by that time, this whole shit, this COVID thing's free, Khabib will get a chance at Ferguson. Whatever happens between then that'd be dope if Nate had a win over over what do you call it? Cowboy or not Cowboy? That's a fucking Conor McGregor guy. So if he gets a win over him, then he's right there in the running pick for back being over there. Maybe another rematch with Jorge. Those are fights I would like to see him jump back in their cage against.
Well, he has beef with Habib too. I forget what it was at, but they were going at it in the fighter section.
Yeah, but it's just like, so exactly. So he has beef for Khabib. So if you already have beef with someone, I want to settle that for the belt. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so does the rest of the world for marketing purposes. Yeah. They can sell that fight. Everyone and their mom will see a repeat of that fight clip if those two fight for the belt. That's gonna be blasted. Like, these guys have hated each other for years. Like, I can see it now. So
yeah. That'd be insane. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Been on here for almost an hour. I want to thank you so much for doing this. It's a long time coming. I hit you up in like July of 2019, and we finally got it done.
Hey man, I appreciate you for reaching out and contacting me again. It's my fault. Again, after that, you hit me up in July, and I really appreciate your support. You've been having my support for almost a year now since then. But, my mouth, I had stitches in my lip, and I had just fucking stitches on my face. I was pretty hideous. So I was just like, shit was slow. Sentences were slow to formulate for, like, I'm not going to lie, like, weeks after that fight, like, it made me realize I need to change my game plan. I need to move to the side more, just take less damage, because it's not cool. I'm turning down interviews, that could possibly give me a chance to, talk to cool people like you, man. So again, I appreciate your support for the past year.
Yeah, hopefully we can do this again when you're in the UFC finally, whether that be in a couple weeks as a replacement fighter or if you get another shot at the Contender Series.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Much love, man. Take care.
Yep, for sure.